Hi children, good morning. Today we are going to learn the lesson The Shell Falls Apart written by Chinua Achebe. Yes, that is how you pronounce his name, Chinua Achebe. He was born in British Nigeria, which is in the second largest continent of the world. Which is the second largest continent of the world? Yes, it's Africa. Here we have a map of Africa, and in Africa there are totally 54 countries. So let's find where his country is in this map. Yes, it's here, Nigeria. But it's given only Nigeria. What is British Nigeria? British Nigeria means during that time, that country was under the rule of British. Okay? Chinua Achebe was a novelist, a poet, a professor, and also a critic. You know, one who writes a novel is a novelist, one who writes poems is called a poet, and one who teaches in a college is called a professor. But what's critic? A critic is someone who writes about and expresses his opinions on various matters like books, films, music, art, and even food. Chinua Achebe was a political critic. That means he criticized the government. His first novel was The Things Fall Apart. And our story, Shell Falls Apart, is an excerpt from this novel. Excerpt means a small part of a speech or a book. And our story, The Shell Falls Apart, is a small part of his book, The Things Fall Apart. And Things Fall Apart is Chinua Achebe's first book. Things Fall Apart is a masterpiece of Chinua Achebe. What is a masterpiece? It means it is one of his best works. It is read throughout the world and it has received a global acclaim. Acclaim means appreciation. Yes, his book is appreciated worldwide. And before we discuss the theme of the book or before we discuss the subject of the book, we must know about colonialism. See, colonialism is a practice in which a powerful country would control a less powerful country politically and use all the wealth and resources of the less powerful country for its own growth. Even India was a colony under British. And as I told you, even his country Nigeria was a colony under British. So in his novel Fall Apart, he has discussed pre and post colonial life. Pre means before and post means after. So he has discussed pre-colonial life, that is how rich their tradition and culture was before they were colonized by the British and how they were affected after colonialization. The story opens with a description of a typical evening in Okonkwo's compound. Okonkwo was an Igbo leader and wrestling champion. Igbo were an ethnic group of people living in Nigeria, and Okonkwo was their leader. There were 4 huts in his compound as he had 3 wives and many children. One fine night, to pass time, Ekwefi, one of Okonkwo's wife, sat down after the day's work to tell her daughter Ezinma a story. The narrator says that we can only hope that such delightful legends will not be forgotten because after they were colonized by the British, their own tradition were slowly fading away and they were becoming a part of a completely different world. What is a legend? A legend is a popular traditional story. Sometimes it may be historical, but not proved. So legend is a popular traditional story. Okay. So coming back to the story. That night was impenetrably dark because the moon had been rising later and later. First it rose at 10 p.m. and after a few days by 11 p.m. and then by midnight, then by 1 a.m., 2 a.m. and now it was seen only at cockcrow. Cockcrow means early morning. See, we don't care much about when the moon rises, right? Because we don't depend on the moon for light at night. We have electricity, but not them. When the moon rose late, their nights were as black as charcoal. It was impenetrably dark. So, children, I'm going to read these passages and I want you to repeat after me. I understand you have this question. Why read aloud? You see, reading aloud improves memory, word sound connection, pronunciation, and the stress and intonation with which we read while reading. So please look at the words carefully and read them. Don't be shy now, let's read loudly. The story opens with a description of a typical evening in Okonkwo's compound. The day's work is done, and his wife Equife is sharing songs and stories with the children. She narrates to her daughter Ezinma. Let's repeat that. She narrates to her daughter Ezinma the delightful legend of the tortoise and the birds. And we can only hope that such folk stories will be preserved and will not be forgotten as the Igbo villages gradually become part of a new and different world. The night was impenetrably dark. The moon had been rising later and later every night until now. Until now, it was seen only at dawn. And whenever the moon rose at cockcrow, the nights were as black as charcoal. So children, after a delicious, tasty supper means dinner. So after a delicious supper of yam fufu and bitter leaf soup, Ezinma and her mother Equife sat on a mat. Look at this picture. This is a yam and fufu is dough, like the chapati dough our moms used to make but with yam. You see, like how chapati, idli and dosa are our staple food, they have yam, kola nuts, soup, pottage. Pottage is just thick soup, okay? Like porridge. And they have palm oil and palm wine. So, after a delicious supper, they sat under the light of a palm oil lamp. The night was so dark that without the lamp it would have been impossible for them to eat, because they could not even have found their own mouth in that darkness. Shall we read this passage? Let's go. Ezinma and her mother sat on a mat on the floor. After their supper of yam fufu and bitter leaf soup, a palm oil lamp gave out yellowish light. Without it, it would have been impossible to eat. One could not have known where one's mouth was in the darkness of that night. There was an oil lamp in all the 4 huts of Okonkwo's compound. At night, everything was so quiet except for the shrill cry of insects. Shrill means loud. Other than the cry of insects, only the sound of a wooden mortar and pestle could be heard. Look at this picture on the screen. This is a wooden mortar and pestle. Noaiki, their neighbor, was notorious for her late cooking. What is notorious? You see, when everyone knows somebody because he did something good, then that means he is famous. But when everybody knows someone because he did something bad, then that means they are notorious. And Noiki was notorious. Why? Because she always cooked late in the night, and because the sound of her pounding the yam would disturb everyone's sleep, she was notorious. But she always cooked late in the night, and that sound had also become a part of the night. Everybody got so used to it. So on that night, Okonkuo was reclining. Reclining means relaxing, resting. He was reclining with his back against the wall. He could hear his wives and children sharing folk stories and songs with each other in that night. It was Equifi's turn to say a story. Before reading her story, shall we quickly read these passages? Read with me. The world was silent except for the shrill cry of insects, which was part of the night, and the sound of wood and mortar and pestle. Noaiki pounded her fufu. Noaiki lived 4 compounds away, and she was notorious for her late cooking. Every woman in the neighborhood knew the sound of Noiki's mortar and pestle. It was also part of the night. Okonkuo had eaten and was now reclining with his back against the wall. Low voices, broken now and again by singing, reached Okonkuo from the huts as women and children told folk stories. Equifi and her daughter Ezinma sat on a mat on the floor. It was Equifi's turn to tell a story. So, Equifi began her story. Once upon a time, all the birds were invited to a feast by the people in the sky. See, when somebody invites you to their home, you are their guest and they are the host. The one who is receiving the guests are called hosts. Okay? So coming back to the story. All the birds were so happy and they began to prepare themselves. How would you prepare yourself for a party? Won't you get your hair cut and put on your best clothes and try to be on your best appearance? Some girls would even put on some makeup. So likewise, the birds painted their bodies with red camwood. Wikipedia tells me camwood is African sandalwood and rich red dye can be made from its bark, which is used to draw designs called uli on the body. And its color would last about 8 days. I think it's much like our mehendi. So when these birds were decorating themselves and getting ready happily, they were being quietly observed, they were being quietly watched by a cunning tortoise. See how I am pronouncing tortoise here? Many tend to pronounce it as tortoise, but that's wrong pronunciation. You have to pronounce it as tortoise. So these birds were cunningly observed by a tortoise. He soon found out that they were all going to a feast. Shall we read this passage? Read with me loudly and energetically. Once upon a time, she began. All the birds were invited to a feast in the sky. They were very happy and began to prepare themselves for the great day. They painted their bodies with red camwood and drew beautiful patterns on them with uli. Tortoise saw, let's repeat that, Tortoise saw all these preparations and soon discovered what it all meant. Nothing that happened in the world of animals ever escaped his notice. He was full of cunning. And when our tortoise found out about the feast, his throat began to itch. Itching is an uncomfortable feeling we get on the skin which makes us want to scratch it, right? But it also has another meaning, that is, a strong wish to do something. For example, you could say, "My brother was itching to go out and play in the rain." That means he had a strong wish to go out and play. So our tortoise was itching to go to the feast. You see, there was a famine in those days. You know what's famine? That means an acute shortage of food. And our tortoise hadn't eaten anything for 2 moons. 2 moons. That is how time was calculated in the olden days. You see, it takes the moon around 27 days to revolve around the earth. So 2 moons means roughly around 2 months. Okay. So he hasn't eaten anything for 2 months. And his body has shrunk so much that he looked like a piece of stick inside his shell. If you would take his shell and shake it, and his body would rattle in it like a piece of stick. So that's how lean he became. So when he heard about the feast, he was so excited he wanted to go too. But he had no wings. How would he fly to the sky? Ezinma asked her mother. "Oh, be patient, kiddo. That's the story," told Ekwifi. And she continued the story. Tortoise had no wings, so he went to the birds and asked them to take him along with them. The birds immediately refused. They said no, because they knew how cunning and ungrateful the tortoise was. They said to him, "We know that you are cunning and ungrateful. If we allow you to come with us, you will definitely do some mischief." Mischief means being naughty, causing trouble for people. But Tortoise immediately said, "Birds, I have changed. You don't know me now. I have changed a lot. I have learned a valuable lesson. I have learned that anybody who makes trouble for others is also making it for themselves." So Tortoise had a sweet tongue. He was able to persuade them by talking sweetly to them. And within a short time, all the birds believed him. They all agreed that he has become a changed man. And they each gave him a feather. So now he had lots of different colored feathers, and with all that he made 2 wings. Shall we read these 2 paragraphs? Okay. As soon as he heard of the great feast in the sky, his throat began to itch at the very thought. There was a famine in those days, and Tortoise had not eaten a good meal for 2 moons. His body rattled like a piece of dry stick in his empty shell. Are you repeating with me? Please repeat with me. Okay, that's good for you. Trust me. Let's continue. So he began to plan how he would go to the sky. "But he had no wings," said Ezinma. "Be patient," replied her mother. That is the story. Tortoise had no wings, but he went to the birds and asked to be allowed to go with them. "We know you too well," said the birds when they had heard him. You are full of cunning and you are ungrateful. If we allow you to come with us, you will soon begin your mischief." "You do not know me," said Tortoise. I am a changed man. I have learned that a man who makes trouble for others is also making it for himself. Tortoise had a sweet tongue, and within a short time, all the birds agreed that he was a changed man, and they each gave him a feather with which he made two wings. At last the day of the feast came. So all the birds gathered in a place, and from there they started together. And Tortoise was the first to come there. And when all the birds started flying, Tortoise was very happy and he was voluble. Voluble means he was talking loudly because he was so excited. See, the tortoise was also a great orator. An orator is a skilled public speaker. So the birds chose him to speak for the party. What does it mean to speak for the party? What is he going to speak? To whom is he going to speak? You see, they chose him to thank their hosts on behalf of them. Do you remember what hosts mean? Those who receive and entertain guests are called hosts. So in this story, the people of the sky are the hosts. So yeah, so they are the hosts. So when they were flying, the tortoise has started scheming. So the tortoise told the birds, "My dear birds, there is one very important thing which we must never forget. You see, when people are invited to a great feast like this, there is a tradition, there is a custom that they have to take a new name for themselves. And the people in the sky, our hosts, will be offended if we don't honor or respect this tradition. So let's all take a new name for themselves." The birds were confused. They have never heard of such a custom anywhere. But they believed the tortoise because they knew that the tortoise had gone to many places. They knew that the tortoise was widely traveled. So he must definitely know about the customs of different people. So they believed him and they all took a new name for themselves. And Tortoise also took a name for himself. He said to everyone, "So from now on, my name is all of you. So you have to call me all of you." The birds also agreed and they all at last arrived at the party. Let's quickly read the first three paragraphs. At last, the great day came, and Tortoise was the first one to arrive at the meeting place. When all the birds had gathered together, let's read that again. When all the birds had gathered together, they set off in a body. Tortoise was very happy and voluble as he flew among the birds, and he was soon chosen as the man to speak for the party because he was a great orator. "There is one important thing which we must not forget," he said as they flew on their way. "When people are invited to a great feast like this," shall we read it once more? When people are invited to a great feast like this, they take new names for the occasion. Our hosts in the sky will expect us to honor this age-old custom. See how I read the word honor? The H in honor is silent. So you should not read it as honor, it is honor. And remember, it is not tortoise, it is tortoise. Let's continue. Repeat after me. Please repeat after me. None of the birds had heard of this custom, but they knew that Tortoise was a widely traveled man who knew the customs of different people. And so they each took a new name. When they had all taken, Tortoise also took one. He was to be called All of You. So children, when they arrived in the sky, the hosts were very happy to see them. Tortoise stood up in his many-colored plumage. Plumage means his many feathers, and thanked them with an eloquent, fantastic speech. The birds felt so proud and happy that they brought him along with them. They felt so thankful to him for giving that speech. They listened to his speech enthusiastically and keenly and nodded in agreement to whatever the tortoise spoke. But their hosts misunderstood that Tortoise was their king because he gave the speech and he also looked very different from the other birds. Shall we read this passage? At last, the party arrived in the sky and their hosts were very happy to see them. Tortoise stood up in his many-colored plumage and thanked them for their invitation. His speech was so eloquent that all the birds were glad that they had brought him and nodded their heads in approval of all he said. Their hosts took him as the king of the birds, especially as he looked somewhat different from the others. So, for starters, they were given cola nuts and they were greatly enjoyed by everyone. And after that, their hosts, the people of the sky, set before them the most delectable, that means the most delicious dishes the tortoise had ever dreamed of. They bought soup and the soup was full of meat and fresh fish, and tortoise began to sniff aloud. There was pounded yam and there was yam pottage. Do you remember what pottage was? Pottage is, I told you. Pottage is just like porridge, a thick soup. So they bought yam fufu and they bought yam pottage. It was cooked with palm oil and fresh fish. And there was also pots of palm wine and everything. When everything was set before the guests, when everything was set on the table before the birds, one of the people of the sky came. He tasted a little from each pot and then he invited the birds to eat. And our tortoise was so excited because he hadn't eaten anything for the last 2 months. He was so excited. So when the host invited the birds to eat, he quickly jumped to his feet. He quickly jumped to his feet and asked the host, "Sir, for whom have you prepared this feast?" The host was confused, but he replied, "For all of you." Then Tortoise turned to the birds and said, "Birds, do you remember? The new name I took for myself is All of You. The custom of the people of the sky is that first they will serve the spokesman, and after I have finished eating, they will serve you. So please wait." So saying so, he started enjoying the feast. The people in the sky wondered why the birds weren't eating anything at all. But then they convinced themselves. They thought it was the custom of the birds to leave all the food for the king first and eat later. So they didn't say anything either. And Tortoise was enjoying the food. He ate the best part of the food. He drank 2 pots of palm wine, and now his body, which has shrunken, had swollen up. His body had filled the shell. He was full of food and drink. So shall we quickly read these paragraphs? Read with me. After cola nuts had been presented and eaten, the people of the sky set before their guests the most delectable dishes Tortoise had ever seen or dreamed of. The soup was brought out hot from the fire, and in the very pot in which it had been cooked. It was full of meat and fish. Tortoise began to sniff aloud. There was pounded yam and yam pottage cooked with palm oil and fresh fish. There were also pots of palm wine. When everything had been set before the guests, let's try that one more time. When everything had been set before the guests, one of the people of the sky came forward and tasted a little from each pot. He then invited the birds to eat. But Tortoise jumped to his feet and asked, "For whom have you prepared this feast?" "For all of you," replied the man. Tortoise turned to the birds and said, "You remember that my name is all of you? The custom here is to serve the spokesman first and the others later. They will serve you when I have eaten." He began to eat, and the birds grumbled angrily. The people of the sky thought it must be their custom to leave all the food for their king. And so, Tortoise ate the best part of the food and then drank 2 pots of palm wine, so that he was full of food and drink, and his body filled out in his shell. But the greedy tortoise had eaten everything. There was nothing left for the birds to eat. Some birds were so hungry that they pecked at the bones which he had thrown all about the floor. And some of the birds were so angry. So they decided to go back without eating anything. But before they left, they were all so angry with the tortoise for spoiling their fun that they took back the feather they gave to the tortoise, and they all went back. So now tortoise just stood there. He didn't have any feathers, he didn't have wings to fly back home. So he went and asked the birds, "Okay birds, you don't have to give your feathers to me, but please, I'll give you a message. Please convey that to my wife." But no, the birds were really furious. They were super angry. So they didn't listen to him and they all flew back. But there was one parrot. You see, this parrot was angrier than all the other birds. So with a malicious intent. What is malicious intent? With an intent to take revenge, with an intent to harm the tortoise. He agreed to take the message from the tortoise to the tortoise's wife. So tortoise told the parrot, "Parrot, tell my wife to bring all the soft things from our house and keep it outside the house, inside our compound, so that when I jump from the sky, it would cushion my fall. It would lessen the impact and I will not be in any danger." So parrot said, "Okay." Parrot promised to deliver the message to his wife and then he flew away. But this malicious parrot, what did it do? When it went to Tortoise's home, it told Tortoise's wife to bring out all the hard things in the house and keep it out. And so Tortoise's wife also brought out all the hard things in her house. She brought her husband's horse, machetes, spears, guns, and even his cannon. Makes us wonder, right? Why would a tortoise need a cannon? And why would it keep it inside his house? Well, this is a story, so I think it's permitted. So tortoise's wife brought out all the hard things from the house and she kept it in the compound. Shall we read these passages? Let's read quickly. The birds gathered round to eat what was left and to peck at the bones he had thrown all about the floor. Some of them were too angry to eat. They chose to fly home on an empty stomach. But before they left, each took back the feather he had lent to Tortoise. And there he stood in his hard shell, full of food and wine, but without any wings to fly home. He asked the birds to take a message for his wife, but they all refused. In the end, Parrot, who had felt angrier than the others, suddenly changed his mind and agreed to take the message. Tell my wife, said Tortoise, to bring out all the soft things in my house and cover the compound with them so that I can jump down from the sky without very great danger. Parrot promised to deliver the message and then flew away. But when he reached Tortoise's house, he told his wife to bring out all the hard things in the house. And so she brought out her husband's horse, machetes, spears, guns, and even his cannon. So Tortoise looked down from the sky and he saw his wife bringing some things out of his house and filling the compound. But he was so far away he couldn't see what exactly she brought out. And when all seemed ready, he jumped from the sky and he landed with a great crash. Did he die? Asked Ezinma to his mother Equife. And Equife replied, no. But the shell of the tortoise broke into many pieces. But luckily, there was a great medicine man in the neighborhood. So Tortoise's wife sent for him. He gathered all the bits of shell and he stuck them together. And that is why, said Equife to Ezinma, and that is why tortoise shell is not smooth at all. So Ezinma, who enjoyed the story till now, complained to her mother, Mama, this is a beautiful story, but there is no song in the story. So Equife said, no, it's true. I shall think of another story with a song, but now it is your turn to tell a story. And like that, they shared folk stories and songs with each other until they fell asleep. I hope you all enjoyed the story. Thank you for patiently listening to my class. Love you all. Bye bye.